Hey, what's up, everybody? Hopefully you're doing well, and hopefully your weekend gets off to a good start. We're going to talk some politics here, and this is California, something local. It's about 40, 50 miles north of where I live, so it doesn't actually pertain to my living situation, but I figured I would cover it. Republican Mike Garcia wins California special election and flips House seat. We're only going to read a little bit about this, and then I'll talk about my feelings about how I feel. Does it matter? Does it mean anything? November's around the corner, as you all know. Republican veteran Mike Garcia held on to his lead in California's special election for the 25th district and will become the first Republican to flip a seat held by a Democrat in the state since 1998, winning former Representative Katie Hill's seat. You all remember her, right? Interesting woman. Garcia stopped short of a full-fledged victory speech on a call with supporters late Tuesday night, as results showed him ahead of Democratic State Assemblywoman Christy Smith by double digits. But by Wednesday morning, Garcia was declaring victory. After seeing more results last night, it is clear that our message of lower taxes and ensuring we don't take liberal Sacramento dysfunction to Washington prevailed, he said in a statement. For too long, the people of our district have not had representation, and it's time their voice is heard in Washington. Now, that's an interesting statement where he says, for too long, the people of his district have not had representation. And they're talking about how the district was flipped from blue to red. I don't know if you know much about this district, but check this out real quick. All right, this is California District 25. And we'll actually just start off around 2013. It looks like redistricting was done at that time. We can actually scroll back. This is just Wikipedia. It just shows the results here of past elections. Look, if you look back here, it's all Republican, all Republican. This is going back in time. It was redistricted in 2003, it looks like. Further back, Republican, 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 Republican. All right, so you get the point. Now, going to 2013 to present, which is what I feel is pertinent, you got a Republican winning the seat by 10 points in 2012. In 2013, a Republican won it by 6 points. In 2016, a Republican won it by 6 points again. In 2018, that's where you see things flipped. Katie Hill picked up the victory and became infamous shortly thereafter. Now, that's what I'm talking about in terms of somebody saying our district hasn't had adequate representation for a long time. Well, as recently as 2018, a Republican was in office, so I don't know what he's talking about. Is a year and a half a long time to not have adequate representation? Or is he taking a stab at the previous Republicans that were in office? 2016, 2014, 2012, and way back. You saw it was all the way back there. And you saw it, and I didn't go that far back, but the seat went Republican as far back as 1992. So it was prior to 92 only when it was a democratically held seat. And the individual there, Mr. Roybal, he held the seat for several decades. So is he taking a stab at the previous Republicans, saying there wasn't adequate representation? Or is it what I figure? It's just something that politicians say on that night that they pick up the victory. Oh, we haven't had adequate representation. We're going to Washington. Things are going to be different this time. Yeah, right. We'll see. We may not have to wait that long to see because, being as though this was a special election, these two are going to go ahead and go at it again in November. Same seat, same everything. Interesting, right? You have this special election for somebody to get into office for what amounts to, 5 months? Here's some things that I found interesting later on in this article, and I'll go ahead and post the link if you want to read through the whole thing yourself. CBS News, it says here, while the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee also spent $1 million in ad buy for Smith, that was Garcia's competition, the Democratic-backed Majority House PAC, HMP, didn't spend anything past the primaries. So $1 million was spent on this special election just by the Democrats, and the Republicans spent $2.6 million. That's actually in the paragraph above what I'm looking at right now. But further, it says here, Democrats expect the registration advantage and turnout from the presidential race to help them take back the seat in November. Interesting. when Garcia and Smith will face each other again in a rematch. One indicator of this came on Monday, when HMP announced they have reserved $3.5 million in ads for the Los Angeles market in the fall. It's amazing, right? Isn't politics amazing? I'm not saying that that money is all for this race. They're talking about the LA market. It's not necessarily just for this race, but it's just amazing to think about how much money is flowing through politics. Just how much money is used because the power that you can gain from having one extra seat, another extra seat, even in a deep blue state like California, it's so vast and it far outweighs the amount of salary the winner would get. It's just that political power. And that's why these PACs and all these donors are willing to put millions and millions of dollars into campaigns. It's amazing to think, just individuals like you and I, we're just normal people. We're average Joes, most likely. We're somewhere middle class-ish. But just to think that these millions are flowing on just one race or in one area, it's amazing. And to think how much across the nation, how much money is flowing and how much money is being used to influence and buy political power. Amazing. Always amazing to me. It shouldn't be amazing, but it is. So with that, there's going to be an election again in November. These two are going to go at it. So no time for victory speeches, I think, for each individual. What will they take off? A couple months maybe, and then get right back to campaigning and get right back to politicking. Now, they talk about something interesting here, though, and this is what I wanted to touch upon, was they're saying that they expect the registration advantage and turnout from the presidential race. Now, granted, California's deep blue. If this were a case where a Senate seat, for example, in a special election in California was magically flipped from blue to red, or somehow the governorship got flipped from blue to red, and the two individuals running were going to run again just several months later, again, like I said, in a deep blue state, then you would say, yeah, sure, the registration advantage, the presidential race. But when we're talking local politics, we're talking about a district that, by and large, has been Republican over time. And we looked back at about 7 years worth of results. Granted, it's been pretty close. It's been within 10 points, 6 points. So it's really a swing district. But I don't know that this advantage they're expecting is going to come to fruition. This blue wave, or even a red wave, as maybe Republicans are hoping for in some areas. But to try to tell me that Joe Biden, because he's at the top of the ticket and it all trickles down from there, if he remains on the ticket, I mean, those rumors are what they are, that they're trying to replace him, stuff like that. Who knows? I think they're going to go ahead and nominate him, but who knows? Could be wrong. Things change. It'll be interesting to see what kind of backlash there would be if they booted him off the ticket and nominated somebody else at the convention. But say they stick with Biden and say he picks somebody as his running mate, Kamala or somebody like that, maybe Stacey Abrams. Would that really generate the buzz around the nation, in California, and specifically within this district, to create a situation where Democrats can take the seat back? Or is this a sign here of kind of individuals having had enough within this district in California? Individuals having had enough of the Democrats' BS over the last couple years. Russiagate, impeachment, the stuff with the virus, all this constant, bickering back and forth. Have individuals within this district had enough of that? And is this an indication that this district is solidly red now? Because the last I saw, Garcia was up by about 10 percentage points, enough to declare it, but there are still some mail-in ballots left to be counted. But is that huge shift from, what was it, about plus 10 for Katie Hill to plus 10 for the Republican now, is that some kind of indication of a Trump buzz? Some kind of indication that Trump is creating a lot of buzz, at least within this district, to where it's not going to be a situation where the Democrats can be reasonably expected to take the seat back. Obviously, since it was blue in 2018, they're going to want to dump millions and millions of dollars into it. But is it realistic? Is Joe Biden really going to create that buzz? Like I said, nationally, but then state and local. Or is it a situation where this Trump wave is kind of, this is an indicator of it right here, and we're going to see more and more of this across the nation. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously it's complex. It's so nuanced. You've got national, which is one thing. Then you've got your state level. Then you've got your district. Then you've got your city level. A lot of people after this are saying, oh, well, this is a Trump buzz, or this is a Trump wave here. This is the excitement Trump's creating. The Democrats are shooting themselves in the foot with all the stuff they've been doing. But local stuff is so nuanced. Like I said, it's hard to get a read off of one seat. But especially, as I said, it's in a district that has traditionally been red for, what I say, ever since 1993. So again, those are just my thoughts on it. We'll see where it goes. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care, and hopefully you have a good weekend.